In today's fast-paced world, it often feels like the bedrock of sanity is slowly crumbling beneath our feet. From sensationalized media to the ever-shifting paradigms of what's considered normal, many people are asking, is there no sanity left in American culture? Stay tuned to the end to discover a perspective that has been overlooked time and time again. According to a recent poll conducted by CNN and the Kaiser Family Foundation, most Americans believe that the nation is in an ongoing mental health crisis. Additionally, in the US today, 90% of individuals are agreeing with the statement. Americans are ranked at the top of their list of the 6 most serious mental health issues, with more than 2/3 of people not considering it as a major problem. Additionally, more than half of the people said that mental illness in adults, as well as mental health problems in children and teenagers, are a major problem. 2,000 people used for the study, which was conducted during the summer, 212 days after the COVID-19 outbreak and in the midst of ongoing public health problems, including racism and gun violence. The widespread worry is identified and is mainly due to individual experiences and societal concerns. According to Dr. Nora Valkow, head of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, the COVID-19 pandemic is the reason for various social problems, which might contribute to the risk of both substance use and mental illness. People dying from drug overdose reached record levels in 2021, according to data from the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, while suicide rates returned to a near record high after 2 years of decline. Additionally, among teenagers aged 12 to 17 in 2020, the number of ER visits linked to mental health increased by 31%. So what is the reason? Is it because people are not finding time for their mental health or spending time socially? According to the CNN and KFF poll, a major mental health crisis in the family, including in-person treatment for family members who are a threat to themselves or others, or family members who engage in self-harming behaviors, as reported by about half of adults, more than 1 in 5 persons, including disproportionately high shares of those under the age of 30, those who identify as LGBT, and those with yearly incomes under $40,000, characterize their mental health as just fair or poor. Over half of LGBT persons and adults under 30 reported feeling anxious frequently or always in the past year, whereas a third of all adults reported feeling this way. About 1 in 5 persons reported feeling lonely or depressed frequently over the past years. Moreover, a third or more of adults reported that personal finance and current political events are major sources of stress. Additionally, personal connections and employment were each named as major sources of stress by about 1 in 4 persons. Calls to the 988 number increased by 45% after the switchover. Seems like the person on the other side of the phone has little time to rest. About 1 in 5 persons, according to the new poll, received mental health care in the previous year. The CDC previously released data that supports this conclusion and demonstrates how the prevalence of mental health treatment increased throughout the pandemic. In 2021, over 22% of individuals received mental health therapy, up roughly 19% in 2019. Did the COVID-19 pandemic play a major role in the mental health of people? Of course, we all know it has been a hard time, with many people losing their jobs. But even after the pandemic slowed down, mental health is still struggling to find its place. According to Sarah Brummett, Executive Committee Director of the National Action Alliance for Suicide Prevention, the increase in our willingness to acknowledge and talk about when we might be struggling or in need of support is perhaps the only benefit of the pandemic and the shift that our country has been going through. She added that people are more eager to get their hands dirty, talk about it, and help people. And I consider it to be development. Does this mean that the doctors and psychologists are not completely listening to what the people have to say? Majorities of people believe that individuals, families, or healthcare providers should show concern in addressing mental health issues, outpacing the share who see a role for government, employers, schools, or religious organizations, despite the fact that 90% of Americans believe that the US is experiencing a mental health crisis. The majority of persons with just fair or poor mental health reported they don't feel comfortable talking to loved ones about it for a variety of reasons, some to retain privacy and some to escape the shame and stigma associated with mental health difficulties, despite growing willingness and widely acknowledged stresses among the general public. However, a majority of respondents, accounting for more than 4 out of 5, believe that people and families should play a significant part in tackling mental health issues in the US, a sentiment that is shared by the same number of healthcare providers. Hence, it will be better if mental health is taught as a subject in schools with ongoing practical sessions. Additionally, this can be demonstrated in the form of mock drills. Hence, children might be able to connect more quickly. CDC survey said that nearly 1 in 4 young individuals in the US received mental health treatment during the pandemic. According to experts, there is a chance to change people's perspectives on how mental health is related to physical health as a whole and how to handle crisis related to mental health. Justin Baker, a psychologist and assistant professor at the Ohio State University College of Medicine, noted that while not everyone is trained in cardiology, a lot of people are. He said, "We'll keep going in circles and never get anywhere if we solely rely on the mental health force. We probably view this as a source of all our issues." However, the US's population's most vulnerable groups are also the ones who are least likely to believe they can access mental health care. About half of persons under 30 and LGBT adults, as well as nearly 6 out of 10 adults who report having just fair or poor mental health, claim they have not been able to access the help they need. The CNN and KFF study found that most often cited excuses for those who went without assistance were that they were too busy or unable to take time off work, that they couldn't afford it, and that they were too ashamed or afraid to seek care. President Joe Biden explained a multifaceted approach to addressing the nation's mental health problem in his first State of the Union address, including objectives to consider mental health in primary care, investing in the labour force, and new approaches to programs that deliver care. In his speech in March 2022, he urged for his full support of physical and mental health care, as well as providing all Americans access to the mental health services they require. The study indicates that the majority of Americans consider those concerns to be serious issues. A number of mental health care providers is a reason spotted by 55% of respondents, and the fact that most insurers do not cover mental health the way they do physical health for 75% of respondents. Additionally, the cost of mental health care is the main reason for 80% of respondents. With billions more planned in future budgets, the Biden administration has funded $5 billion through the American Rescue Plan on mental health and drug use programs run by the US Department of Health and Human Services. Recent summer saw a huge change as the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline switched to the 3-digit dialing code 988. Early data indicates success. Calls increased by 45% in the first month compared to the same period last year. The need for psychiatrists, medical professionals who specialise in treating mental disease, and a variety of problems that affect people of all ages is increasing as mental health is becoming more visible and treatments are becoming more readily available. The services of non-medical professionals who give counselling and support services in fields including behavioural problems, substance misuse, and other sorts of mental health concerns are also in high demand. In the future of psychiatry, treatment may be assessed by patients with them having to leave their homes. Virtual therapy websites already schedule patients for online sessions, giving them access to therapeutic help they might not otherwise get. Hence, here comes a solution for people who usually procrastinate. Please share this video with your loved ones and tell them that you will always be listening to them in their difficult times. In an era of rapid change and unyielding divides, one might wonder, is there no sanity left in American culture? As we have journeyed through the nuances of today's cultural landscape, it's evident that beneath the surface chaos, there are currents of reason and unity. But will they be strong enough to carry us forward? And before you go, if you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts on the topic in the comments below. Are we truly out of sanity, or is there hope yet to be found? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into pressing topics like this one. Let's journey together through these cultural conversations.